Joining me now, Paul Perez, the president of the National Border Patrol Council, which represents more than 16,000 Border Patrol agents. Paul, good to have you with us.
Thank you.
Let's start with Alex Pretti. What we know is that he died in a shooting involving federal agents, including members of Border Patrol. Can you tell us, Paul, if indeed it was a Border Patrol agent that shot Pretti?
Yeah, I mean, the investigation's ongoing, but yes, one of our agents was involved. And, we asked for a fair, impartial, and objective investigation. That's what everybody wants. That's what the president wants. He wants to get to the bottom of this. He wants to see exactly what happened and whether or not anything went wrong that we can fix going forward. But at the end of the day, our agents were out there in a difficult situation doing law enforcement actions. And, the situation unfolded the way it did.
So now that you've confirmed that indeed it was a Border Patrol agent that shot Pretti, to be clear, border agents had the right to be there. They were carrying out enforcement orders. But are your agents trained to deal with protesters that could turn violent, Paul?
Yeah, absolutely. That's not our primary mission, but our law enforcement academy, our ongoing training, it's one of the toughest in the country for federal law enforcement. Our training is a lot better than most police departments in the country. So yes, our agents are trained on those techniques, de-escalation techniques, riot control. We've responded several times to ports of entry to back up customs when people have tried to come across the bridge en masse. So yes, our agents are trained in those types of tactics and as well as de-escalation.
So then protocol didn't require the Border Patrol agents to call in local police, because I know in the past it's the local cops that deal with protesters as Border Patrol carries out their missions. So was it not protocol to call the local cops?
It's 100% protocol, but unfortunately, in a lot of these states, in Minneapolis, the police are not being allowed to respond. The state police are not being allowed to respond, and so that's what's very frustrating about this. We wouldn't have the Border Patrol agents up there helping ICE if we had local police and state police assisting, and that's something that we believe Tom Homan and the governor and the mayor can work out so that we can get our agents back to where they should be, which is on the border.
Got it. And just to follow up, who is it exactly that is saying to the local police there, don't show up, do not assist Border Patrol in any of these missions?
It's been the elected politicians there, where they're not allowing them to respond. I mean, you saw the video of the federal officer that was there. They were surrounded. They were asking for help, and nobody was showing up. We believe the rank and file law enforcement officers in Minneapolis, they want to help us out, but unfortunately their hands are tied, just like our hands were tied during the 4 years of the Biden administration where we couldn't enforce the law. So, we know they want to help. No law enforcement officer wants to see another law enforcement officer need help and not get it. So we believe they want to be out there with us.
Got it. The president has now said, Paul, that there will be an investigation, but administration officials had already called Pretti, a domestic terrorist before we got all the evidence. So I want to ask you, how can the American people who are supposed to trust Border Patrol, hold itself, how can the American people trust this process, when the Border Patrol is holding itself accountable here?
Well, look, I mean, people are going to be held accountable in everyday scenarios. I mean, this is no different. An objective investigation is underway by HSI, the FBI, and now I understand, local and state authorities. So, if there's accountability there, then, it'll be had. But our law enforcement officers are trained on the use of force. I support that our agents felt that their lives were in danger, the danger for the innocent third parties or even their fellow officers. That's what agents are trained to do, protect themselves and others. And so I want to know exactly what everybody else wants to know. What was the threat? And they'll be able to justify it because our agents aren't out there just shooting people randomly. There was actions that resulted in consequences, unfortunately.
So let me ask you, Paul, when DHS Secretary Kristi Noem came forward and called Pretti a domestic terrorist, do you think that was wrong of her to do that when she did?
No, look, I mean, I can't speak for the secretary, but I know the secretary very well. I know she's getting information just like everybody else that, the information is fluid from these situations. And so the fact that he had a gun was recovered right away, made everybody believe exactly what she said was true. And so when she said that, she was going off of the information that was given to her by commanders on the field, on the scene. And so I can't fault her for that. I can't fault anybody else. The fact of the matter is, our agents have been under attack since the minute they landed there, and they've been attacked. You saw the HSI officer who had his finger bit off. We've had agents attacked every day almost. There's a high increase of that, so our agents are high aware, high alertness, and so I can't fault anybody for what they got fluid information that may have been bad or may have been misinterpreted.
So when you look at the video, Paul, you don't see Alex Pretti pull out a gun. You don't see him point the gun at any of the agents. Was it justified to kill this man that doesn't appear to be a threat in the video that we've all seen now?
So again, agents, all law enforcement officers are trained, to react to weapons. I can't tell you what without looking at everything, without being there, I can't tell you what was going through his mind, but obviously it was that there was a threat. He perceived a threat. And based off the circumstances, I mean, we can't go. He doesn't have the benefit of slowing a video down or going in reverse or hindsight being 2020. We have to accept the fact that he made a split-second decision that resulted in the death of Mr. Pretti. But at the end of the day, we've got to make sure that he gives his statement and talks to the authorities and identifies why he took the shots. And we believe he will be justified at the end of the day based on the totality of the circumstances. We go by the law, Graham versus Connor. That's what dictates whether or not you can. And so we believe he'll be justified at the end of the day.
One more follow-up, Paul, because when you look back at the video, you see one of the agents holding Alex Pretti's gun away from the scene. And then it's after that the shots are fired. What are your thoughts?
Well, again, this happened in the matter of seconds. We don't know that obviously our agent, our officers did not see that. That happened simultaneously. And so he believed, because of the fact that there was a struggle ongoing and because they had a gun, I'm very, very certain that he believed that his life and the life of his fellow officers was in danger. So he did what he needed to do.
So now the Trump administration has pulled Greg Bovino, the commander of the Border Patrol, from Minneapolis. We've been reporting that all afternoon. Was that a mistake?
To pull Greg Bovino out? No, I don't think it was a mistake. I think sending Tom Homan in, somebody that can go in and talk to the mayor and the governor. I mean, look, at the end of the day, we all know that the mayor and the governor weren't going to talk and sit down with Greg Bovino. Tom Homan coming out there at the request of the president is something that I think can offer a reset, and offer an opportunity for them to discuss helping our law enforcement officers do these targeted enforcement raids. We're not just going out and sweeping people up off the streets, but if we have the backup and the support of the local and state law enforcement officers, we could more than likely reduce the number of federal agents that we have in Minneapolis so that they could get the job done without the impediment, without the interfering from these protesters that are out there.
Do you believe sending in Tom Homan was giving in to the protesters' demands, taking Bovino out, putting Homan in?
I don't. I think everybody wants de-escalation, and if this is a way to de-escalate things and do a reset and get things going, then I think it's the right decision to make.
Paul Perez, appreciate your time.
Thank you.